Welcome to Slasher Sunday. So the way that the story goes is that I was invited on with my co-host from In the Mic of Madness, Rebecca Reinhardt, to be on the Horror Mafia's live podcast there. Had some other guests like Dave Z from the Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast, which I was really excited to see him on there. And they asked us to watch a film called The Tripper, directed by David Arquette, a slasher movie. And so I did, and I had to do a decent amount to get that done at the time, blah, 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 wine. And we ended up not even discussing the movie at all during the 2 friggin' hours we were on there. Rebecca was even on there longer than I am. But Dave let us know after the fact that that's kind of how things are over there, that they're a little more loose and they just like to talk and have fun. But I was like, well, I watched this freaking movie. I would have liked to have talked about it, but I'm like, you know what? I got a Slasher Sunday to do. I was going to watch something else last night, and I was like, well, I already watched The Tripper. And here's the funny thing. Caleb Vila sent me a copy of The Tripper, a couple weeks ago, just randomly, along with Strangeland and a whole bunch of other movies. And when he asked me about The Tripper, I was like, The Tripper? That's so bizarre that I just got sent a copy of that movie. Now, I said in there that I had a copy of it, but I looked everywhere in my collection, and I can't find the damn thing. So I'm either completely blind, or I didn't have it like I thought I did. I swear I have it, though. I swear I'm tripping. But, yeah. So, all right. Let's get into The Tripper, which is not a spinoff of fucking Three's Company. There you go. Man, that joke would have landed harder if I didn't pause in between and actually know what fucking show I'm talking about. But imagine that, a Jack Tripper show where he has some serial killer after him, or he is the serial killer. Ooh, big twist there. Yeah, he moves into people's, because in the first episode he falls asleep in their bathtub, if I remember correctly. I remember watching this show when I was a kid, and then he has to pretend he's gay in order to live there, and Mr. Roper and them are just what the hell? And Mr. Hurley and Mr. Roper, right? Those are the two landlords that they changed throughout the years. I remember I watched the show a decent amount when I was a kid, but I haven't seen it in decades. But yeah, I mean, he goes and he crashes an open house. Ooh, the open house, a movie everyone loves, right? Okay, I'm the only one, with a couple other people who are smart. So, all right, in this movie we have Jason Mewes from Jay and Silent Bob. And we've got Lucas Haas in here, who always reminds me of the little brother of Adam Driver. I don't know, every time I see this kid, I'm like, that looks like Adam Driver, but a goofier version, an even goofier version. We have Jamie King in here, which for some reason I always mix her and Jamie Presley up. I don't know why, just do it. We got David Arquette in here, of course. He directed the damn thing, and his wife even makes an appearance. His wife at that time, they're not together anymore. Courtney Cox is some dog-loving hippie. And we've even got Paz de la Huerta, who was in Nurse 3D, and The Editor. Ooh, The Editor. What a great movie. I don't care what anyone says. You know who I'm talking about. If you're watching this, you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, you. All right, so I don't really have a ton to say about this movie. I found this movie to be very, very cheap feeling. It just is an ugly movie. There's no production value to this at all for being a David Arquette written and directed film. You would think that this guy coming off of Scream fame and all the other shit that he did, that he could have put together a better looking movie. This movie is ugly to look at. It looks cheap, and I just don't like it at all in that way. Aesthetically, I just think it's disgusting. I just look at the film, I'm like, wow, this movie looks like shit. So I don't know what the hell's going on with that. I don't know if that's an artistic choice to make it seem more washed out and more like in the woods, and maybe like, I don't know. I'm really honestly not sure. Or dirtier because we're dealing with like hippies out in the woods. I don't know. And then we got this really bummer opening. I can't stand when movies start with like actual graphic depictions of real violence, like the freaking Vietnam War and bodies just being piled on top of each other. Like, I don't want to see real shit at all. Like, you want to give me fake gore all day, fake violence all day, cool. But I remember when I watched the movie Seed, which I think is directed by Yul Bull, if I remember correctly. It's like a slasher movie. I only watched like the first 10 minutes of it, but like because of that first like 5 minutes or something, which was like PETA videos of them just like, and I get the point of it in the movie, like they're forcing this shit down his throat and like forcing him to watch it, and this is what's corrupting his mind, but it's just animals being abused for like 5 minutes, like real animals being just mauled and mutilated by humans, and you're just like losing all faith in humanity. And then you watch this and it's just violent acts against each other, and the shit they're doing to humans, and the bodies that are piling up, and man, rough stuff. So not escapism at all. When I watch a horror comedy called The Tripper, starring fucking Jay from Jay and Silent Bob, directed by David Arquette Doofus from freaking Scream. Yes, I know what his real name is, but with the scary movie thing, it's always Doofus to me. You guys know I'm not a Scream fan anyway. But man, I don't want to sit through that kind of shit. I just don't. Can I handle it? Sure. I'm not a baby. I'm not gonna like run out of the room crying or anything. But I don't want to watch it. I have no desire to. It just bums me out. Like how we could do something that's so horrible to one another. I just don't. I'll never understand war. I'll never understand that kind of stuff at all. It's just not the way I work. Like if I have a problem with someone, I'm gonna go confront them personally, and him and I are gonna hash it out. Like the fact that entire nations, like let's not get political here. It's just, I don't get it, man. It's the 21st century, even the 20th century. The fact that we still bomb each other from overseas and we still fight it, like, I don't get it. I just do not understand it. You can't get along, really? It's really not that difficult. Anyway, and then we got this opening here with this, after that, with this kid who kills this tree-hugging hippie. Literally, these guys are constantly coming out and wreaking havoc on the lumberjacks of the town who are trying to cut down these trees. And this guy is like, you better get out of the way. And the kid that's with him takes a chainsaw and just, he just saws into this hippie, and it's just blood spraying. The gore in this movie, it's okay. There's nothing really to write home about. It's whatever. I mean, the gore in the opening is real. I wouldn't say realistic. It is real, so you got that. But the rest of the gore, the practicals, the fake gore in it, they're okay. It's mostly just blood gags, which, as I said, I don't count that as gore. Although the chainsaw, when the blood's actually, like when the chainsaw's in the guy and the blood's spraying out of it, I do consider that gore because we are seeing it takes place. It's not off screen where blood is spraying on the camera or something. Like, I can't stand that shit. Cutaway blood spray is the cheapest cop out in horror. Don't do that. I would rather not see anything at all. We got Thomas Jane in here, which my first introduction to Thomas Jane, which I brought up on the podcast, one of the only damn things I did get to say about the movie on the podcast, is I remember seeing this guy in the movie Boogie Nights, Todd Parker. I just was like, who is this guy? I loved this motherfucker. His performance in that, everyone's performance. That whole movie is just packed to the brim with absolutely amazing, insane performances. It's such a perfect movie. One of the closest films to like a Tarantino-esque style of filmmaking, back when Paul Thomas Anderson was making these big 3-hour long character pieces, like multiple character pieces. He makes much different films now, which Paul Thomas Anderson used to be my favorite director with Hard Eight or Sydney, whatever you want to call it, and then Boogie Nights and Magnolia, which I just adored, and then Punch Drunk Love when he released that. And then There Will Be Blood, and I was just like, holy shit, this guy is the most amazing director ever. And then The Master, even, I was like, this is the best performance I've ever seen in my freaking life by Joaquin Phoenix. And then Inherent Vice, and it didn't work for me. I don't know. It wasn't something that I really liked all that much. It was something I was like, what? And then The Phantom Thread. Still haven't even seen the fucking thing, which is so crazy to me because I was such a PTA obsessed film lover, and I don't know, one film threw me off somehow, but I will watch The Phantom Thread at some point. It's just, I don't know, period pieces like that, they just don't really make me have any desire, which is funny because There Will Be Blood was one of the better movies I've seen, and that's the same team up there, and then this is Daniel Day-Lewis's end thing. All right, we're talking about Paul Thomas Anderson for too long, but Todd Parker, holy shit, man, that whole sequence where Alfred Molina and him and Mark Wahlberg are there, and then the little freaking the kids setting off the fireworks, and oh man, that whole sequence is one of the greatest freaking sequences in film for me. It is so tense. It is so out of control. I love it. And Thomas Jane will forever be amazing to me for that. And he's done plenty of other things I love. The Mist, of course, being another big film for me. So anytime I see Thomas Jane, and plenty of other stuff. I'm just not going to go too much more into Thomas Jane's career at the moment, but I fucking love the guy. And although I don't really feel like he's the best choice for the Punisher. I think he's fine in the movie, but I don't know. All right, I'd have to watch that again to see how I feel about it. I still think the best Punisher, and you can fucking disagree with me all you want, I don't care. I think the best Punisher on screen ever is Ray Stevenson. Like, the dude is the Punisher to me. He looks exactly like Frank Castle, and I love Warzone. It is bonkers, insane, fucking over-the-top, graphic violence, comic booky feel, super silly, but super graphic. Love it. Really wish that people would have liked that movie more, but what can you do? All right, we also got Paul Rubens' Peewee Herman himself here, which I feel like a lot of the times when entertainers have to entertain children, and I have to say up front that I think that Paul Rubens probably got the rawest deal in like entertainment history. The fact that they caught him in a porn freaking theater jacking off. What the fuck did you think he was doing in there? How many other guys were in there doing that? Like, really? This guy sacrificed his sexuality to entertain children. Like, who wants to fuck Peewee Herman? Like, yeah, he's rich and he's famous, but he's Peewee Herman. Like, the persona that you have to put on for the kids isn't really going to make you hit with the ladies. Like, girls aren't going to line up except for your money. And, maybe that's not what he wanted. And so he goes and he wants to pleasure himself to pornography. And this was before the fucking internet. This was before you could easily just bring it. And yes, he could have done it at home, but who cares? He's jacking off in a porn shop with everybody fucking else in there. He's not jacking off in front of kids. He's not fucking that was such bullshit that they ended his career over that. Absolute horse shit. And then he had this, he had this little run of movies where he was doing more of, adult humor. He did The Mystery Men, and he did Blow, and he did this, and, but now he's Pee-wee again, which is great. I enjoyed the Netflix movie that he did and his show. I loved Pee-wee growing up. The Word of the Day and Couchy and all those characters. Great stuff. Good memories of mine. But his character in this is pretty funny. I do like his character in this. The fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. He's just like, he's overcompensating for the fact that he was a child entertainer for so damn long. So of course he's got to be, and that's what happens to a lot of people who either are child entertainers or are actual children entertainers, and they grow up and they want to be, taken seriously as an adult, and they want to break away from their image as a kid. So Miley Cyrus will swing around on a fucking wrecking ball naked to get people to be like, I'm a woman now. I want to fuck. I want to talk about sex. I want to show my tits. I want to do whatever the fuck I want because I'm an adult woman. And you want to see me as Hannah Montana for the rest of my life. And I'm not fucking Hannah Montana anymore. And when people are like, oh, she's reckless and she's out of control, it's like, that's because you won't let her be her. And she needs to overcompensate so that you can see her the way she wants to be seen now. And you might disagree with that method, but, that's their fucking choice. So don't judge, just let them be them. And so, yeah, with Paul Reubens, I just watched this and I'm like, oh yeah, this is when he was trying to, be tough, Paul. Get away from the Peewee Herman thing. And then finally that all blew over and he could come back and do the role that he was most famous for. And come on, Pee-wee's Big Adventure is one of the best movies ever. It put freaking Tim Burton on the map. It's such a great adult comedy. You can show it to kids for sure, but man, it's more for adults. The tequila dance and Large Marge, and it's such a bizarre, wacky, awesome movie. Pee-wee's Big Top too, I actually really enjoy, but nowhere near as much as Big Adventure. Oh man, and I could go into. I'll have to maybe run through like Burton's films one day just so I can talk about all the shenanigans in that movie. Some really fun stuff. I'm a loner Dottie, a rebel, which is a great Get Up Kids song and one of my favorite bands growing up in high school. Okay, anyway. And see, I'm just having to branch off and talk about shit because I really don't have a lot of notes here, so you're just kind of getting whatever I can kind of go off on tangents about. But that's not much different than what I normally do, so you're pretty used to that by now. All right, so then we've got the Regen Mask, which, here's the thing about this movie. I think the idea behind this movie about a bunch of hippies going out and having like a Burning Man type thing, and Ronald Reagan, like the anti-hippie, coming in and killing all of them. Obviously, it's not really Reagan. It's a guy in a Reagan prosthetic mask. But the idea of him killing everyone, of these hippies with an axe and all that, and his little one-liners, and them out there smoking pot and being like free spirits. You've even got full frontal male nudity in this, which I've always been fascinated by. Like, why seeing, like, there's a couple things that are just, people are so fucking weird. Like, I don't know if it's just American audiences, I think it is, but we're just such prudes. We're so fucking weird about sexuality. I don't get it. You can see tits all day in an R-rated film and it's fine, but a dick is like graphic male nudity, and there only can be so much of it where it has to be this. And you can't see a hard dick. You cannot see an erect penis. That is too much. And the thing you're least likely to see in a movie is a vagina. Have you ever seen a vagina in an R-rated movie? Like, outside of the Basic Instinct, freaking Sharon Stone, pussy flash for half a millisecond, like a vagina, you don't ever see that. Like, you'll see a dick here and there, randomly and pretty rarely, and usually for comedic effect. But a vagina, like an actual, like, see the lips vagina, I'm not talking the hair when they're standing up, but I'm talking like legs open a vagina. Never. I don't think I've ever seen it in a movie ever once in my life. Just weird. Why is it such a big deal? We've over-sexualized parts of the body, deemed them as sexual, organs when they're not being sexual. Like, a vagina in its natural state isn't sexual. It's just a vagina. It's just weird to me. It's like cuss words. People make a big deal of nothing. It's like, they're not cuss words. You made them that. They're just words. Stupid. Stop it. You're getting offended because you made something offensive. That is silliness. Things aren't actually offensive until you make them offensive. So stop making them offensive, and then you won't be offended anymore. Ha! Incredible. All right, anyway. I think that's mostly about it. I mean, it's pretty par for the course, pretty standard fare here. I mean, a bunch of kids go out in the woods and they kind of get picked off one by one. The killer ends up being like the dude who works in the mini mart that breaks up the fight. Like, why wouldn't he let them just attack each other? Was he trying to protect his rednecky allies there, but he kills them anyway. I don't know. He should just let them rip them apart. But I guess that was a way to introduce him. Hey, at least he got introduced into the fucking movie, and instead of just having the reveal at the end, like, who the hell is this? Like Betsy Palmer in freaking Friday the 13th. They could have had her in the damn diner with Steve Christie for at least 1 minute if they actually knew what they were doing in that movie. Just to have her at least be acknowledged as a person in the background, something, somewhere. But so yeah, he's at least breaks up a fight for half a second in this movie. So you do get a glimpse of him to then be later revealed in the film. Yeah, overall, it's okay. It's just like a one-time watch for me. I've seen it before, but because of the podcast and because it was sent to me and whatnot, yeah, it was something I was going to watch again. It's really about all I have to say about it. So what do you guys think about this one? Any favorite scenes? Any kills that I didn't really mention any kills because none of the kills are all really that memorable. The idea behind it. This is a Teddy Brown film. The idea, the concept behind it is really cool. The execution, for lack of a better term, in a pun, in a slasher movie, but is just dreadful. Okay, it's not terrible. I shouldn't say that. It's not terrible. It's not. It's okay. I did not hit her. I did not. It's bullshit. Oh, hi, Mock. But yeah, it looks like shit. It's super, super obvious fucking standard slasher fucking run-of-the-mill type of movie. I don't see anything all that special about it outside of the Regen Mask, which I think is really cool, and the concept. Outside of that, it's forgettable. So, thank you to the Horror Mafia guys for having me on. Thank you to Dave Z for talking with me about what happened. Thank you to Caleb for sending this to me. And thank you to all of you for watching this till the end. All 2 of you. Adios.